So I have a second presentation that's the more technical side of what goes into building the software, the considerations that you want to go. It's actually the last conference I was presenting this at, I had a guy there from the Air Force, and he said that his commander said, go to this conference, I want you to build a thought-controlled drone for the Air Force, and he was there in my session. I'm like, okay, no pressure. But anyway, he thought it's interesting stuff. So
I think it's only 4 more, 10 more, 5, 6 more minutes.
6 more minutes.
Yeah.
So
You use more time.
did Muse. If you go to choosemuse.com, you can buy one of these. This is one of the ones that focuses on brain fitness. The idea being helping you deal with your stress and anxiety levels. So that's what the other headsets. This one here, so this uses 7 dry electrodes. So it's not as in-depth information as this one provides. This one's OpenBCI. This one's based on Arduino. It's an open source hardware platform that you can get. You can actually daisy chain 2 boards together for a total of 16 electrodes. It's all open source software, openbci.com. Emotive Insight, this is the new one coming out from Emotive that is, I'm guessing the price is gonna be about $300 based on their Kickstarter, because it was originally Kickstarter funding, but they haven't announced it yet for the pricing. This one has less electrodes, but they say they've improved the signal processing, so they actually get better performance out of this one with less dry electrodes than the existing one with wet electrodes. So since they're competing against their own product, I would assume that they're probably accurate, but it hasn't shipped yet, so I haven't got a chance to look at it. As far as the dealing with, let's see, where's this at? So using the Emotive SDK, it comes as a DLL, and I just connect to the DLL. You can use, like I said, in different languages there. The way that I deal with it, though, in order, the workflow is I connect to the engine, so I call engine connect, and then I create an event handler. And so the event handler is used that I receive events back, and then I have a state structure that I use that I pass back and forth state information to the engine. And then when I receive a response back, EDK OK, and then I call get event, and so get event just says, what's the next event? And so sometimes it's going to say, there's nothing. But if there's an event, then the event will come back, and I'll say, I'll get some information about that event, and that will be, for example, I can get the emotion state or cognitive event. And so cognitive event is going to give me the current action. So it comes back and says, it's a cognitive event, and I say, give me the cognitive information. What thought were they thinking about? What was the intensity of that thought? So as far as the training goes, I call the set cognitive action or cognitive set active actions with a mask of actions that I'm looking for. And then I call the train with the ID of the specific action. And then I call it, say, start. And then when it's finished, I'll get a response back. And then I can accept that training. So I actually have the option at the end to accept or reject the training. Software doesn't do that. It just accepts it every time for simplicity's sake. So that's roughly, does that kind of answer your questions as far as dealing with it? Some of the issues that I had to deal with, well, they have a whole new SDK for the new headset called the Xavier SDK. So some of the issues I dealt with is thoughts to movements. I'm only moving the drone when I'm actually receiving a action back. When it's saying I'm getting a thought of move up at this intensity, then I move the drone. As soon as they stop thinking that, the drone hovers, it stays there. So the parrot will do that automatically, but if you're not sending a signal to the parrot regularly, then the parrot will think, oh, I'm not getting a signal to land. So I have to keep sending the signal to it to stay, hey, stay hovering, so it'll stay there. One thing I decided to do is the speed, the intensity of the thought pattern. So if that lift is just a little lift, then it goes up slowly. If the lift's a lot of lift, it goes up faster. So I decided to translate speed, or intensity to speed. The other thing, though, is I can only detect 4 different directions at a time, 4 different cognitive thoughts at a time. But there's more than 4 directions the drone can travel, right? It can go up, down, left, right, forward, backward, rotate, etc. So something I want to do and I haven't done yet is I could use the facial expression detection, right? And so I could grit my teeth and blink my eyes maybe or something like that, come up with some sort of pattern facial expression that would be used to switch command sets. Okay, so I have one command set that would be up and down, left, or let's see, up and down, left, right, and the other one would be forward, backward, bank, or rotate, so that I could just, blink my eyes twice or whatever that is, wiggle my nose like Bewitched, and the drone would change command sets, and I could control it differently. Something else, though, that thought would be interesting to do is to use the idea that they used for the input grid of letters, right? And so I could create this grid like this, so each of these controls is pulsing at a different frequency, and then all I have to do is think about which control I want, right? If I want to go up, I just think about up, and then that frequency is translated in my brain, and the EEG can pick that up and make it move up. So that'd be another possibility of a way to control the drone. Something else, originally I was using Google Glass to provide feedback in this, and I'm not using it now because it quit connecting to the drone. I don't know why. It worked at one point and then stopped working, and I haven't completely troubleshooted the entire issue. But what I was doing is using Google Glass so that the user, when they're wearing glass, would get immediate feedback about what's going on. And so what I found is if I'd have someone train it, and they're thinking up, and then the drone starts moving, and they're like, oh my goodness, the drone's moving, and they're thinking differently now than they were when they were looking at the computer screen. So by giving them Google Glass with the little display right in front of their eye, that gives them something to focus on that's not changing when the drone's moving versus when it's not. And so I found that it was more effective for them to get that immediate feedback. What I was thinking about adding to that is maybe, for example, having an image beyond just a little bar and words so they can associate different images with different commands in order for them to create a biofeedback loop. Plus, everything's cooler with Google Glass, and so everybody's excited that I had Google Glass in there. But like I said, it stopped working, and I haven't figured out why yet. Well, so actually, Google is making a new model. They haven't completely given up on the platform line yet. So this is that feedback flow again, this time with Google Glass. Let's see. I think that's most everything. Oh, I mentioned the NeuroSky's MindWave. This was the first.
Like the Chinese one,
I think so.
yeah.
Yeah, these guys were the first ones to make an EEG headset, consumer EEG headset. Yeah, the ears. And so this has one electrode on your forehead, and the reference electrode clips to your ear. So you clip it to your ear, and it has this one thing that sits on your forehead. And all this detects is it measures your eye blinks through the muscles, and it can also pick up your attention versus meditation state. So they actually sold this. This device has been in all sorts of different consumer products. There's a pair of ears you can get, cat ears that will wiggle based on your different thought patterns and stuff like that. There is a Uncle Milton's Force Trainer, which was a product that was branded by Star Wars, that you'd wear this and you can move the ball up and down by using the force or your attention, your ability to focus. So they start at $80 to $120. They have an SDK. People are hacking it and doing all sorts of cool things. Like someone made a cat tail that will wiggle a cat tail, so you can have ears and a tail now that move around for you. But anyway, that's the short version of.
NeuroSky was more for fun and social stuff.
Yes, NeuroSky is definitely, it's around fun, where each of these products kind of has a different niche right now, which is interesting. This one's kind of around fun. This one's really around the idea of brain fitness. This one is really trying to be an open source version of the professional EEG headset. So they're it's interesting, it's more expensive, but it's open source platform. The Insight's actually combining both the idea of the brain-computer interface and the brain fitness into one, so it's a simpler device. You see, not as complex, doesn't look like a big head crab. It's comfortable, easier to wear for longer periods of time, longer battery life, et cetera. Anyway, so that's I can tell you more about the drone command strings, but you can download my slides. They're right here, all the information's on that. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
Yeah, so you share any of your code online.
Yep.
My son's like 13 and he might be kind of like, wanting to build a drone like that.
Uh-huh.
It would be a great project for us to work on together. So.
Yeah, all my code's up on GitHub, right there on the last link. Now, are the slides provided through the?
I don't know. Let me check with the
Okay.
organizer. That's what either way, you're okay with it.
Yeah, because I've emailed the slides, and they can get them for the conference, or You can get the slide deck there. Or email me if you have questions.
Yeah, yours will be faster than going through the organization, because they'll have to put so many things up.
Okay, yeah, so you can download them there. That's a slightly older version of the slides. It's got 90% of the same information, though. There's a couple tweaks I've made to it. I always make tweaks to my slides, and usually make them better, I hope. But any other questions or comments? All right, well, thank you for sticking around.